Hi, welcome back. PSU banks will be in focus today. Actually, the new Reserve Bank Governor, Shaktikanta has spent the first few days in office meeting a lot of the PSU bankers. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra, the MD and CEO of Syndicate Bank, joins us on the line to give us a sense of what transpired at that meeting. Mr. Mahapatra, thanks so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about what took place at that meeting? I understand that Syndicate Bank was in attendance there. What were the key issues that were discussed and the big takeaway?
See, Governor Das has taken over just about 4 or 5 days back. It was part of his taking stock of the opinions of industry leaders, especially the PSB chiefs. So he first met one round of chiefs who are based out of Mumbai, and thereafter he met those who are based out of Mumbai. So what happened there was that he stated that he wanted to speak in general about economy, about the sectors in which we are seeing green shoots coming up, as also how to bring back the health of the public sector bank back on track. So these were some of the headline items. In addition, I think he's also concerned about the credit offtake in some of the key sectors like housing and also the MSME. Those were also discussed.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Mahapatra. What is the constraint for lending more? Did you all ask for capital? Are you all getting it?
The capital, PCA, the stress relaxation, those were discussed in general, nothing specific. What Governor Das was more concerned about that whether these new liquidity windows, for example, few days back, pool purchase on housing finance and now the open market operations increasing, whether these are suitable or how we are perceiving it, those he wanted to know.
Okay. How are you perceiving it? Is the general liquidity enough, or were the bankers wanting special liquidity for NBFC companies to kickstart growth?
No, what came out was that liquidity per se is not a constraint, because many of us are sitting over excess SLR and other things. What they were telling, what most of us told was that because of the past experience in increasing MSME NPAs
exposure,
and also the NPAs which has happened in the past, and that is preventing us from taking exposure without additional due diligence. So the liquidity is not a constraint, but the factors that are like credit risk, like data risk, etc., those things are the constraint in taking.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also said that he spoke to you about, or spoke to the bankers about how to bring back the health of the PSU banks. Apart from, stress relaxation on the capital of PSU banks through the PCA, anything else that he spoke about? Any suggestions that were offered?
No, we spoke about also the how to bring the long-term health. Sometimes which is not in the domain of the RBI, but in the domain of general administration, is building risk management, building the HR bandwidth, building the technology capabilities which can handle scale. So those were also discussed. RBI could only relax about the capital requirement and maybe to an extent how which sector to go or which sector not to go. But the other things like these long-term measures were also discussed.
Okay. What were the key asks of the bankers?
The key asks of the banker were nothing, because as Governor Das told right at the beginning, he is not here to take the asks and solve them.
Okay.
He said that because he is new, so he wants to, know what are our views, and he was taking notes. So were the 4 deputy governors who were present, but there was no ask and give kind of a situation.
Oh, okay. That was going to be my next question. What would your key takeaways be? Did you get a sense that they may lower the capital ask? I mean, it's already been lowered, that 0.625% of Basel-related capital is now postponed by 1 year. Did you get a sense some more of that will come, or you got a sense that there could be a package for MSMEs? Any takeaways at all?
No, Basel, what was again clarified and reiterated was that Basel is also seeing the general financial stability of the country through what RBI is prescribing as capital. So RBI is not that RBI on its own is prescribing a lot of capital or something like that. There is an international framework which is evolving to which RBI must get compliant. The other thing that was coming out was that, the openness of RBI in consulting the chiefs of banks and kind of ingesting all the opinions that were around. Probably one of the key takeaways was that this consultative process. In fact, Governor Das also told at the end that there will be more and more occasions to consult the PSU bank heads as well as other bank heads, and the opinions will be taken on board, and those will be taken forward.
So MSME, you are expecting something? Could that be a general expectation?
MSME, clearly it was on the agenda. Some of us told that in their banks, MSME growth is growing between 8 to 10%. Some of us told that MSME growth, we are not seeing beyond 4 or 5%, but also we discussed whether the MSME sector needs any additional products or additional, services or something like that. However, what came out was that, MSME sector needs support, and what we can do to see that the sector gets adequate liquidity.
Okay. You also said that Governor Das was concerned about the credit offtake in the housing and the MSME sector. But why is that? I thought credit offtake was pretty good. I mean, as per RBI's own data in November, the credit growth was, I think, almost 15% across the board. So what was the concern about?
No, the concern was that whether banks per se are seeing any constraint in growth, or they are growing because of the pool purchases from large housing finance companies. So that was some discussion was around that. But the overall credit growth, as per RBI data, as you rightly told, is not too bad.
What was your own takeaway, sir? Was the growth because you all are finding more takers and you have liquidity, or is it because there is a lot of purchase of NBFC loans?
No, in my bank, see, there are a group of banks who are quite short on priority sector advances, and they are doing pool purchases, or they are parking money either with SIDBI or with NABARD. So, whereas in my bank, it is quite good in terms of the priority sector finance. We are much ahead of it. So we are not doing large pool purchases.
All right. Finally, since we have you with us, just a syndicate bank question. How are slippages shaping up? I think we did see that even in the second quarter, it was much lower than the first quarter, but you did see additional slippages about 3,000 crore. Is it troughing out?
Yeah. It is what? It is what?
Is it troughing out? I mean, is it likely to reduce further?
It is. See, as they say, I think sometimes journalists are ahead of the bankers. So I think it is.
Okay, that is good to hear. Thank you very much, Mr. Mahapatra, for joining us. Well, that's the key takeaways from the conversation that bankers have had with the Reserve Bank. Concern expressed on MSME, and bankers clearly saying that their past experience is deterring them to lend more. And on the other issue of capital, it doesn't look like there is immediately any munificence coming from the Reserve Bank.
Yeah, okay. So that was the big takeaway from the discussion that the bankers had with the new RBI governor. But Deven Choksi of KR Choksi Investment Managers joins us now. Deven, hi, good morning. It's been great tidings for the market. I mean, such a massive rally over the last fortnight. What have you been advising your clients to do, and what are the good stocks to be buying now?
Yeah, good morning, Sonia. Certainly, I think the both technical factors and the macro fundamentals probably, I think, have started turning in favor of India. and I think largely I am referring to the crude oil and the commodity prices. We being the consuming country, we find definitely I think a great advantage in the lower crude oil than commodity prices. In fact, the current account deficit situation is likely to turn positive if you have the crude oil prices staying around these levels. So certainly I think this is a very good news as far as the macro fundamentals are concerned. On the other side, the market technicals also supported the buying in the market. Particularly, I think when you saw the VIX, I think remaining at a significantly low level, maybe I think in the recent months, I think at the lowest levels. So which is basically asking the traders to bring back money into the country. And the currency is showing the sign of stability as well. So at the same time, I think the foreign money would once again return back into the country. So all in all put together, I think has started resulting into buying taking place in the market and the rally. I don't think that the fundamentals of the companies per se have changed beyond a level. Maybe in this particular quarter, we are likely to see the pressure on the margin for most of the companies given the volatility that they have had in the commodity prices in the last quarter, and I think the reflection will happen in this quarter. Okay. At the same time, I think there has been a challenging offtake on the auto side. So I think some of the issues are going to have overhangs in the quarter 3 working. And that could possibly make a sense that I think the fundamentals are not changing, they are remaining same. But yes, I think the overall perceptions on the macro fundamentals is changing currently.
Okay. Deven, do stay on. We have to take a quick break, and we are coming back. We will also be joined by Jahangir Aziz, the economist from JP Morgan, to parse statements from 2 central banks, what the Fed told us and what the Reserve Bank minutes indicated. We are back in a jiffy.